vampire gangsters. They'll eat your lunch and wrinkle your school clothes.